Happy Thursday. Hopefully everyone is excited for another interesting day in the stock market, right? All right, so we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. Gonna try to keep this video under 20 minutes. I really do respect all of you guys' time so much. Thank you so much for watching these videos, each and every single one of you. We picked up actually more than a handful of subscribers over the last week now, on our way to 100 subs on this channel. Not my first time here on YouTube. I actually have other YouTube channels, believe it or not. Not in the stock market section, though. Very much different sections. Might be talking about those later on, definitely as we progress here in the next couple weeks. But the stuff that we're going to be talking about today is primarily rate cuts, some data. We're going to be talking about SoFi as well, too. Like I stated in the last couple of my videos here, I did not mean for this channel to really be like a SoFi channel per se. This channel is a conglomeration of the stock market as a whole. But I mean, SoFi is my largest position on my private account, my public account. It's my only real true long-term position that I'm looking to really pretty much have a game plan for the next decade, as long as the management team continues to execute. Obviously, if the management team changes course, I got to restructure. But here's the catch also. When you are long-term investing into stocks, are there going to be times to take profits? I'll definitely talk about that in a later video, but the short answer is yes. I actually did get asked a question about that, saying, hey, do I plan on not selling any SoFi shares in the next decade? I'm sitting on over 2,000 shares of SoFi right now. A little bit demonic part of me kind of really wishes that SoFi will... Because honestly, the way stuff is really playing out, especially with upcoming earnings, and in the later half of this year, we are going to be getting a new Fed chairman or chairwoman running the Federal Reserve. Very optimistic things can be happening to SoFi. And I thought that I was actually sitting on maybe like a little bit too much of shares a couple weeks ago. But seeing just this overall fearful market, it just really makes me want to kind of really buy more, especially if we do experience a gigantic dip down. So, okay, let's go ahead and talk about some economical news very quickly here, because we actually have a lot of stuff to talk about. So tomorrow is a very key indicator, because tomorrow the Supreme Court, which is ran by Republicans, and the Trump administration is a Republican administration, is going to be looking to see if the tariffs are really justified or not, with or without Congress's approval. So there's really a lot of talk about some bullishness of if the Supreme Court comes out and says, hey, all these tariffs need to go away. That's going to basically, like, pretty much it wipes Liberation Day clean. Liberation Day was a buy of a lifetime opportunity. I ended up going all in. I depleted all my cash reserves. I ended up buying a little bit over $100,000 worth of stock. It was a massive buying opportunity. There were a lot of people, though, that kind of, unfortunately, they ended up going all in after the election. So 2024, the time to buy stocks was during the summer. When nobody wants to buy stocks, that is when you should be loading the friggin' boat. When everyone is bullish, when there are bottles of whiskey being cracked open, when there's balloons, rockets going off to the moon, everyone is saying this is the greatest time ever. Morning water cheers. Already had some coffee. When there are celebrations left and right, that is when you sell. Okay, I understand it's a very backwards mentality, but if you want to go ahead and utilize that strategy that I've been utilizing now for over 5 years, it can definitely make you life-changing money. If you are a long-term shareholder to a company and something like Liberation Day happens where the stock market goes down like nearly 30%, you buy the dip, you get discounted shares to long-term positions. If you are trading stocks, like doing short-term trading, a lot of positions, I ended up doing short-term trading because of Liberation Day. You buy the blood, you buy the dip, you sell the rip. It's a very simple terminology. So hypothetically, if the Supreme Court says, hey, all these tariffs need to go away, the market may take that as like you're talking an extremely bullish scenario. Do I believe that's going to end up happening? I really don't. Do I believe that there are politics at play in here? Absolutely. I try really not to talk about politics on this channel. I am very much a conservative libertarian. To be perfectly honest, I just honestly, I'm definitely not for like war at all anymore. I am a veteran, Afghan vet, military background in the United States Marine Corps. I actually grew up very much supporting the Bushes, the Cheneys. Hey, we gotta, liberate countries, regime changes all the time. It resulted in a lot of people getting killed, a lot of service members dying, friends of mine. War is not the solution. So over time, my opinions have definitely changed, and I'm very much sick and tired of just the whole politics aspects of like notions, and a lot of other people as well too. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican or Democrat. A lot of people are really fed up how so much is played by politics, because what ends up happening is that if the Supreme Court plays politics, then when a Democrat gets in, along with maybe a Democrat Supreme Court, politics are going to be played, and it's going to fuck up the entire system. Politics in general are just terrible. It messes up people like myself, that is very much a retail trader, retail investor. I'm not some big wig human being. I'm not some super rich Wall Street dude here. Just really pretty much an average Joe, but I do know more than the average investor and trader in the market. And that's by really learning a lot and also being taught a lot of this stuff by a lot of very credible people. But if the Supreme Court comes out and says, hey, the tariffs are unjustified, the market could see that as a very bullish thing. My personal opinion is that the Supreme Court is going to come out and really maybe do 50-50. They're probably going to say some tariffs are justified and some are not. That is going to give President Trump kind of really some leeway a little bit. And that's really going to be pretty much nothing for the overall market. And if you don't believe that the Supreme Court watches the U.S. stock market, you are dead wrong. Every entity in the government watches the market. Every entity, okay? The stock market is everything. If the stock market goes down and you are in a position of power, you get blamed. Oh yes, 2000. I remember this. I was born in 1988. I remember though how the Supreme Court intervened, and the Supreme Court got blamed because they chose George W. Bush by the Florida election. And the Supreme Court said, we will never get involved in any election ever again. What if hypothetically the Supreme Court says, hey, all the tariffs are justified, and what if hypothetically this market like goes down, like crashes a little bit? The Supreme Court's going to get blamed. What if hypothetically the Supreme Court says, hey, none of these tariffs are justified, the market goes up like crazy? Well, I mean, that could be a good thing, especially for Donald Trump since he's the president. But it could be also a bad thing because then people are like, hey, the Supreme Court, they have stock profiles just like anyone else, just like me, just like you watching this video. They want the stock market to go up. So you got to take that into consideration. And everything is political. It's absolutely sickening. But that's just really the world that we live in. Okay, so besides that, that's going to be tomorrow, and we may not even get an answer tomorrow. That's another thing too. We may not even get another answer tomorrow. We may get it delayed until June, but we're going to get some clarity tomorrow. So today, initial jobless claims came in, to be honest, I mean, it was a little bit below the medium forecast here, but it's pretty much almost in line. Trade deflect came in definitely a lot lower. Productivity. Does this really sway the market? To be honest, the market is really looking for this number right here because this unemployment data tomorrow is really going to give us a clarity about if we're going to possibly be getting a rate cut or not. And if the unemployment starts to really significantly tick up higher for whatever reason, even though Donald Trump has stated that they are laying off government workers, so that's the reason why the unemployment is kind of really going up. You can really say the opposite and be like, hey, no, unemployment's been going up for a while now. We got a problem here in the stock market. This is not something that is just really it's been happening over the last several years now. So right now the chance of a rate cut at the end of this month, it's dropped all the way down to 11.6%. Not sure if you can see this on the screen or not. 11.6% here. That's obviously really bad. But this can also change in a blink of an eye. So right now, if we were to gamble on a rate cut, it's more than likely not going to probably happen. But go ahead and look at this as well too. I showed this, I believe, in yesterday's video or the previous video. This is the AI sentiment. What do you see here? Bullish. Yeah, look at the 1 year liberation day. 61% bearish. Okay? This is actually somewhat interesting. Now, let's go to the Fear and Greed Index on CNN, which is neutral. This is, honestly, take this stuff with a grain of salt. You should not be looking at this. But I will say this. If the extreme fear is on here, you need to be buying stock. Okay? Now, what is my opinion on overall? And let's go ahead and tie this into SoFi. Pretty much because a lot of this is primarily really going to be affecting SoFi. So, if you notice the SPY here, right? What do you notice on the SPY? Let's go back all the way to 2000 and really January, February of 23. What do you notice on the S&P 500? Well, you notice on the S&P 500, it is on a straight escalator to the upside. Like you were just, if you had bought in on SPY all the way back in beginning of 2023 at $410, give or take, actually a little lower, 380 here. You are on a escalator ride to the upside, like you can never imagine. Were we doing rate cuts in 2023? No. What about SoFi? Well, back in 2023 with SoFi, it was basically a dead stock. It was no man's land. But what was happening in 2023? What was happening in 2024? Oh, their revenue was increasing. Their guidance was increasing. Their EPS was increasing. They were triple beating. Finally, we ended up getting a gigantic rally, pretty much October of 2024. But as you basically see, SoFi, along with many, many other companies, they have operated just fine in a high interest rate environment, which we are really no longer in. We are not in a high interest rate environment like we were in 2023. SoFi has operated in a very bearish market, just like 2022-23. We are no longer really in a bearish market in 2023-22 anymore. And the management team has still prevailed. Now we are entering into an area of monetary easing. We are entering into a year where they have stated, hey, 2026 and 27 is going to be your big year. They stated that well before the Federal Reserve stated that, hey, we're going to be going on this massive rate cut cycle. The management team, in my opinion, is just real. If we go ahead and get a aggressive new Fed chair, whether it's a woman or male, and if they are aligned to the Trump administration to plummet interest rates, we are going to get even bigger guidance incorporated. And that is really what SoFi, institutions that own SoFi, in my opinion, are pretty much waiting for. They are waiting for SoFi's earnings to really see what Anthony Noto, the top banana. I'm not really a fan of bananas anymore. I'm actually a bigger fan of avocados. Very much follow low-carb style diets. Avocados are definitely a luxurious piece of fruit. Anthony Noto is a jumbo avocado. I'm talking about a 300-gram gigantic avocado. Massive amount of fruit. Good fruit though. An apple a day definitely does not keep the doctor away. I can tell you that. Too much damn sugar. But Anthony Noto is going to state Friday, January 30th, after the Fed decision. And there is a reason why the Federal Reserve, or there is a reason why SoFi is doing their earnings after the Federal Reserve rate cut decision. Normally, we get SoFi's earnings early in the week, like a Sexy Monday or a Taco Tuesday. We are getting it Friday, 2 days after the rate cut decision. Anthony Noto is going to come out and he's going to say, hey, the Federal Reserve said this is what we can project. Otherwise, if SoFi comes out on Monday or Tuesday and it's like, hey, we got to wait on the Federal Reserve, it's going to give a lot of uncertainty. So what's going to happen with SoFi, in my opinion? Probably a whole lot of nothing. We're going to probably do a whole lot of nothing, in my personal opinion, until earnings. We may not get a rally into earnings. Who cares? The RSI, Relative Strength Index, is dead smack dab in the middle. The MACD is really just in the middle. It's really a coin toss if SoFi is going to go up or down. I would rather just consolidate into earnings and then just take it from there. What am I personally doing with my SoFi shares here on my Bung profile, aka public account here? Yes, the Bung profile. Come on, yeah, you got to give me some Beavis and Butthead fans. I know I'm not the only one that grew up on Beavis and Butthead. I also grew up on South Park too. The Bung profile. What am I doing with my SoFi shares here? Absolutely nothing. If SoFi dips below $25 again, I'll go ahead and maybe add some shares like I did back on a couple days ago, Monday evening. But I mean, if nothing happens and we just consolidate, I am very well positioned here. All of these stocks that I own, they are just waiting. It's all about fear. It's all about the waiting game. It's about these big institutions trying to shake you out of shares, and that's it. But to really go ahead and wrap up this video here, does SoFi need rate cuts to thrive? No, they don't. Okay, will they go ahead and thrive more? Yes. Any stock is going to thrive more. Any stock is going to go up more with rate cuts. It's a trick question. Okay, the SPY is going to thrive on rate cuts. But what did I just show you? The SPY went up in a high interest rate environment. It goes to show you that the stock market is now looking to the future, and the future is really bullish. Can we still go into a recession? Anything is possible. In my opinion, I'm honestly leaning that we've been in a recession. I got to make a whole video on this, but I really do believe what Cathie Wood has been saying for the last, several years. We have been in a rolling recession. And if that is the case, 2027 is going to be a massive year. Because 2026, you're going to see a lot of companies start to raise up their prices. And then in 2007, the sentiment of the housing market's going to be unscrewed. The stock market's going to be higher than ever. Everyone's going to feel good about the economy. Right now, people don't feel good about the housing market. People don't feel good about the market. So we got to get away from that fear. Okay, closing note, as always, if you enjoyed this video, smash the like button, completely free. Subscribe for future content. I try to put out content Monday through Friday here. Tomorrow is going to be a big effing day, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, everyone. I've been getting a lot of really great feedback. Maybe I'll be attracting some haters when we definitely rack up some views on this channel. But otherwise, I mean, the only thing to really hate on, I'm definitely, I am an American bull. I love America. I'm a patriot. I love my nation. And if you're not from America, you should love your nation too. Patriotism is very important. Very important. I've been all over the world with the U.S. military. You gotta love your country. People love their countries. They really do. I am definitely not a perma-bull. I have realistical viewpoints. And my realistical viewpoints is that during these times of uncertainty, just continue working hard. Like I am right now. I'm a small business owner. I'm also an author. And I am just building cash. That's all I'm primarily doing. And if this market takes a nosedive, I'm ready. So I'll throw that question right back at you all. Are you ready for the fear, for the dip, hypothetically, if we experience a sell-off? You just got to be ready. And if we rally to the moon, well, I'm ready for that too. All right, later, everyone. Take it easy.